presence. Like I actually felt her presence. Like I could breathe like her, with her.
What did you feel inside your body? What did that feel like?
Right here, I felt warm.
Okay, beautiful. Anyone else? What did uncomfortable feel like?
Warm and
So here's the point. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I want to get you guys moving, but the point of all of this is the fact that it's difficult for you to physically describe what you felt. Hello. It tells me that you probably would have difficulty explaining what your gut instinct is, because everyone talks about it, right? I don't know, something felt wrong. But when you can actually put specific words to it and describe physically what's happening in your body, it means you're going to be able to recognize it much earlier and then make a decision about what you want to do about it. So, for instance, for me personally, and it's a little bit different for everybody, I always felt that feeling for me started in my chest, and it felt like a weight on my chest, almost like I couldn't breathe. And then I started paying attention to it, and what I realized was that the feeling for me actually starts in my lower back. And it feels like little nails, like a little tickling, and it wraps around to the front of my pelvis. It gets super duper warm, it comes up the front, and then I feel tightness in my throat. I mean, even as I'm explaining it to you, I'm feeling adrenaline. I don't know if you guys can see that I got like super duper flushed right now. And that's just describing it. This is what I'm talking about. And what I encourage you to do, not just in moments where you feel that feeling, that instinct, but all the time. Instead of saying you feel angry, you feel tired, you feel overwhelmed, you feel nervous, what are the actual physical symptoms that you feel inside? What does angry feel like? What does sad feel like? What does overwhelmed feel like? And doing this will give you a better understanding of what's going on in your body. And from a self-defense standpoint, what it means is it gives you the ability to recognize those feelings much earlier and ahead of time. That makes sense to everyone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have awareness, we have gut instinct, and then we have common sense. Stuff like walking to your car and making sure you have your keys out, right? Not letting your purse swing behind you. Getting in your car, locking the doors right away. That means before you put your seatbelt on and driving off, not sitting in the car and idling. Paying attention when you enter and when you exit buildings. All this stuff is common sense. By far, and even with our combined experience, Marcus loves to fight, but I can guarantee you that he will go to the ends of the earth to avoid being in a physical confrontation with somebody on the street, and so would I. Because the likelihood that you're going to be able to walk away completely unscathed is slim to none. So what you can do, and anything and everything that you can do to prevent it, to avoid it, to see it coming, even using your words and your body language to de-escalate, this is what you want to do. So I'm not going to spend any more time on the pre-fight, but understand that this is really the essence of what I do and what your aim should be, and to use the physical skills as an absolute worst case scenario. So far so good with all that, right? Okay, now we get to the fun stuff, and that's the actual fighting back. The period of time before the fight is on and happens, it can be really short, almost non-existent, as in you don't see it coming and all of a sudden somebody's on top of you, or somebody's choking you, or somebody has grabbed you, or somebody's pushed you and slammed you, or they're pulling you. Or it can be a longer period of time where somebody, maybe that you know, an acquaintance, almost 3/4 of all crime against women is committed by somebody that the woman has met at least one time. That's crazy. Think about that. At least one time. Right? So we're not talking about the majority of attacks being someone that jumps out of the bush and throws you on the ground, although that does happen. Okay? So what that means is that that period of pre-fight was pretty extended. Okay? This gives you some really important information. Regardless of whether it is short to non-existent or extended, if you find yourself in a position where you have to physically defend yourself, it goes from 0 to 100 miles an hour like that. There is no escalation. It's not like, well, maybe I'll struggle a little bit and see if he goes away and then I'll make a decision from there. If it's time to fight back, you fight. And you fight with absolutely everything that you have within you. Statistically, women that fight back are much, much, much more likely to survive an assault. Everyone's got that, yes? Okay. So that's what we're talking about. The philosophy of what we teach, which is Krav Maga based, is strictly self-defense. We don't care what it looks like. We just simply care whether it's going to work or not. And it needs to work not just in the best case scenarios, it has to work in the worst case scenarios. any size against any size, any strength against any strength, whether you're full, whether you're in your workout clothes or you're in your work clothes, it has to happen across the board. Yeah? And so that's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to give you a little taste of it. Everyone's good? Okay, so you're going to warm up while we actually start, so I'm not going to do a formal warm up with you guys. First, I have to get you in what we call a fighting stance. Like I said, the fight may start from any different position, but once the fight starts, you want to work to this fighting stance because it gives you a solid base in order to generate power. It gives you a solid base in order to stay balanced, and particularly as women, we're going to be outsized, right? So we want to be able to stay connected to the ground so we don't end up on the ground. We want to stay on our feet. And it's going to give us the ability to move. So I'm going to have everyone face this direction and spread out just a little bit. Any lefties? There's always one. Marcus is going to be your lefty. You're going to follow along with him. Everyone else is going to follow along with me. So go ahead and stand with your feet very close together. Step your feet a little wider than your shoulders. Left leg, take a natural step forward. Bend your knees. Take your back heel slightly off of the ground. Perfect. From here, bring your hands up in front of your face. Elbows are in. Chin is tucked. Shoulders up and forward. Check your feet out. Make sure they're nice and wide front to back and left to right. And so we stay balanced. Left to right and front to back. The wider the better. For me, my natural fighting stance is this. That's pretty wide considering I'm relatively short. So as you guys get more comfortable, your stance will widen, but always think wide no matter what. Keep those knees bent so you stay glued to the ground. You should actually feel it in your legs. When we move from this position, oh, by the way, hands are open, not in fists. Anybody other than Marilyn who already knows the answer? Know why? Why do we have our hands open?
So they can give you.
You can squat. Okay, scratch that from the vocabulary from now on. There will be no squatting of any sort. I'll give you a hint. It has nothing to do with protecting your face. It has nothing to do with striking. There's only one reason why we have our hands open and not closed.
Because it's a bigger surface for defense.
It has nothing to do with protecting. No. What does this say? Without me saying it. I want to fight. I want to escalate. What does this say? Stop. Now, is this going to stop somebody? Probably not. But the point is that we want the body language to mirror the outcome that we want. It's the only reason we have the hands open. I can send any strike. I can make any defense from here, hands open. Everyone's good? Okay. So from this position, we have to move, right? We can't just stay. Fights are dynamic. So when I move, I always want to maintain this nice wide fighting stance. I never want to bring my feet together. I never want to cross them. So when I move forward, I'm going to drive with my back leg. My front leg is going to step first. So I'm going to open and close my feet back to a stance. Open, close. Check your feet out. They should be nice and wide, and you should be way bent. And forward. Open, close. Good. When I move back, the back leg